Thank you for joining me, Diana Master, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Zambian soldiers jet in to teach NDF how to bury a president. Oshakati ordered to ban company that falsified tender documents, and court appoints fresh Fishrot curators. Stick around, midday news update coming right up. Mines Minister Tom Awendo has made new appointments to the Namibia National Energy Council this morning. The NEC is tasked with making recommendations to the minister regarding the effective administration of the National Energy Fund, making recommendations regarding the approval of funding by the NEF to approved agencies, and advising the minister on investment policies concerning the NEF. John Titus, who serves as Director of Energy in the Ministry of Mines, was appointed as the NEC's chairperson. Other appointments to the NEC include Deputy Executive Director of Industrial Development in the Ministry of Industrialization, Michael Humavindu, Director of Centralized Services in the Ministry of Works, Sem Kadikwa, Senior Technical Advisor to the Minister of Finance, Helvi Philippus, Director of Water Resources Management in the Ministry of Agriculture, Maria Amakali, Financial Advisor in the National Planning Commission, Anna Shatika, Chief Legal Advisor at Nampower, Zoe Nambahu, and Executive for Engineering and Technical Services at Transnamib, Bertus Eckstein. The NEC members' appointments were effective on the 1st of February 2024 and expire on the 31st of January in 2027. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act in this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The Act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Getting into today's visual news clips, Namibian journalist and African Union Media Fellow T.A. Muhaidula sat down with Emilia Mkusa, Namibian ambassador to Ethiopia, who shared some memories of the late President Hage Geingob at the embassy, which Geingob officially opened in February 2023 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Here's T.A. Muhaidula.
On behalf of the staff at the Namibian Embassy here in Ethiopia, we were honored to every year interact with the President when he comes to Ethiopia. This year, we were also preparing literally to host him, but unfortunately, God has other plans, and as a result, for us, to honor him is for us to continue doing our work. He was somebody who liked people who work hard, very hardworking, and so on. And this is what I was telling my staff, that yes, the president is no more, but he left us with so much systems that are working. He left us with so much knowledge. Let us emulate that. And that is what the Namibian nation can do in his honor. Continue with the hard work. We are a peaceful nation. We can continue being peaceful in his honor. And to tell you the truth, everybody is surprised how smooth the transition in Namibia went. And it is due to the systems that are in place. So, yes, we are now in mourning. We are mourning our president. But also in his honor, let us continue working together in the Namibian house he was trying to build. He left that Namibian house for us to continue building it until it is completed. The President, may your soul rest in peace.
Chairperson of the Irongo Regional Council, Benita Imbamba, during the first council meeting of the year today, reflected on various familiarization visits, highlighted on various familial visits. Let's take a look.
Honorable Councillors, during the month of January 2024, we have conducted a familiarization visit to Daures, Karibeb, and Omaruru constituencies, respectively. The purpose of the visit was, firstly, to introduce the Chief Regional Officer, and secondly, to ensure that the Council Management Committee members are well versed with the progress of various projects under implementation under this calendar year. It is safe to say some of the projects are well on track, while others are worrisome and far behind completion dates. I therefore urge you all to fast track and monitor the implementation of the projects in your respective constituencies and report back. I am happy to report that the water pipeline project in Omachete is progressing well and on schedule for completion. Based on our preliminary findings of these vessels, I should encourage that we strengthen our stakeholder relations with various entities and communities within our respective constituencies.
After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting us off, the Namibian Sun reports that members of the Zambian army, who themselves had to bury two of their heads of state, are in the country to help the Namibian Defence Force with preparations for the burial of late President Hage Geingob this weekend. Geingob's death on 4 February is the first by a sitting Namibian head of state, and the country's military, which is mandated to conduct the burial, is said to be unsure of how everything is to be handled. In 2008, Zambian President Levi Mwanawasa died while serving his second term. In 2014, another Zambian President, Michael Sata, died. Geingob's burial is slated for this Sunday at Heroes Acre, and NDF is said to be hard at work to ensure his ascendance into eternity goes smoothly. On page 3, the High Court ordered the Namibian Port Authority to return about 80 shipping containers it removed from a site at the port of Lüderitz. The containers belong to Tradeport Namibia, which filed an urgent application at the Windhoek High Court and succeeded in proving a case of spoliation. Spoliation is a legal remedy that can be used to stop the illegal deprivation of possession of, for example, property, when a party can prove that it was in peaceful and undisturbed possession of the property. Judge Thomas Masuku delivered a verdict on Friday and ordered that the portion of the port which was occupied by Tradeport be returned to its position and that the removed shipping containers be removed. On the front page of the Republican, the High Court has ordered the Namibian Port Authority to return about 80 shipping containers it removed from a site at the port of Luderitz. The containers belong to Tradeport Namibia, which filed an urgent application at the Windhoek High Court and succeeded in proving a case of spoliation. Now moving over to the papers, page 3. We do apologize for that. It seems we did have the same story for both newspapers. On to the papers, page 3. A school in northern Namibia is threatened with being removed from the list of accredited schools. The school is appealing to the High Court in Windhoek with an urgent application. The court documents show that the minister has not yet made a final decision on the private school Savonats. On its front page, the African Child Development Trust has announced the printing of the first booklets of its 2024 education project. This initiative aims to provide free educational materials for pre-primary to grade 3 learners in Namibia. The booklets will be available in Republican street sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. Pre-primary booklets will also be delivered to 30,000 children in over 500 schools across Namibia. In a significant move to promote inclusivity, the pre-primary booklets will be available in 9 languages: English, Afrikaans, Oshikwanyama, Oshindonga, Oshiherero, Khoiho Khoab, Selozi, Timbukushu, and Romano, while those for grades 1 to 3 will be available in English. Each booklet will contain 6 weeks worth of content based on the Namibian curriculum from the National Institute for Education Development. A total of 6 booklets will be distributed per grade, covering all 36 weeks of the curriculum. On Allgemeine Zeitung's page 3, with a limited number of mathematics teachers and a not very good curriculum, the Japanese aid organization Japan International Cooperation Agency is helping the overstretched staff of the Ministry of Education with the workshop. Stick around, we'll be right back with the second half of our newspaper review segment after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Continuing with our newspaper review segment, the Namibian reports that the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises Review Panel has advised the Oshakati Town Council to apply for the blacklisting of a company accused of using false certificates to win a $7.3 million Namibian road upgrading tender. The company Truth Investment CC, owned by Jafet Mvula, was awarded a tender by the Oshakati Town Council in August 2023 to upgrade the Okahao MR92 intersection and the Oshakati roads. The review panel advised the Oshakati Town Council to apply for the debarment of the bidder who submitted documents in terms of Section 68(1)(a) of the Act. An order by the review to the panel reads, the order was made on the 4th of December 2023. The Namibian Page 3 reports that 2 directors of a Namibian accounting firm are due to be appointed as the new curators to administer the assets of the accused in the Fishrot fishing quotas fraud and corruption case placed under a restraint order in terms of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. This is after Judge Orban Sibeya ordered in the Windhoek High Court yesterday that Harald Hecht and Pierre Nutse, who are directors of the accounting firm PKF Financial Consulting Services, should be appointed as curators to take over the administration of assets of the Fishrot accused that were first placed under a Prevention of Organized Crime Act restraint order in November 2020. Sibeya also ordered that the appointment of curators David Bruni and Ian McLaren would be terminated once the Master of the High Court had issued the new curators' letters of appointment. The New Era's lead story reports that employees of Irongo Mine Enterprises are up in arms over the suspension of the managing director, Martha Umati. They are now demanding answers from their holding company, Oshena Group, alleging that Umati is being subjected to corporate bullying by the group. The workers who visited New Era yesterday are demanding an immediate meeting with Oshena's top management. On page 3, the Northern Traditional Authorities chairperson Dilimani Herman Ipumbu hailed President Hage Geingob as a liberation struggle icon, an experienced leader who did not discriminate and who united people, as well as a peacekeeper and advisor. He was speaking during the special regional memorial service held at the Yongwediva Trade Fair Center in the Oshana region on Sunday. According to Ipumbu, Geingob played a pivotal role as he implemented land rights and empowered traditional authority leaders to handle land-related issues. Now, according to Market Watch, the diamond industry faces a burgeoning challenge with the rise of synthetic diamonds, a concern amplified by the fact that Namibia's diamond exports accounted for 22% and 24% of its export bill in 2022 and 2023 respectively. Commenting on the latest trade data by the Namibia Statistics Agency NSA, IJG Securities pointed out that diamonds were the country's top exported product last year, generating about 25.1 billion Namibian dollars in foreign earnings compared to 2022. Namibia's diamond export bill last year grew by 15.6%. Sticking with diamonds, Namibia eyes a greater share of diamonds mined under De Beers agreement. An update on this story coming up as we head into economic news after the break.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo
Wij zij sê wie hy is er aan neertrek en daai bal het my grond gevat. Ja, hy het grond gevat en is
but just enough next.
Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
You're still with NMH at 1, getting into today's economic news stories. Namibia is preparing to negotiate with De Beers to secure a larger stake from diamonds mined within its borders. The current arrangement allows Namibia to retain 15% of the diamonds mined by Deb Marine and Namdeb for value addition. The agreement is set to expire in 2026, prompting discussions on potentially increasing the share that remains in the country, Minister of Mines and Energy Tom Alwendo revealed. Alwendo said the government is already on the path to securing a greater portion of the diamond production. Since the last negotiation with De Beers, we already have 15% of the diamonds kept in the country for value addition. Of course, the agreement is going to end, I think, in 2026, and then we have to renegotiate probably to increase that. What must be value added, he said. The move aligns with Namibia's broader economic strategy, which aims to shift away from the export of raw minerals and instead focus on enhancing the domestic processing and manufacturing of its resources. The late President Hage Geingob emphasized the shift during his address at the EU-Namibia Business Forum in Brussels. Let's take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.96 to the British pound, 20.55 to the euro, 19.05 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 65 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited stocks took a dip of 0.50%. Leshego Holdings stocks took an upturn of 2.50%, same as Namibia Breweries Limited, an upturn of 0.03%, while the rest maintained. Local index closed in an upturn of 0.12%, while overall index closed in a downturn of 0.05%. Looking at commodities, all commodities are up save for Brent crude oil, which took a dip of 0.64%, now trading at $82.95 per barrel.
Hi Kambaripa.
Hi Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the rest of the continent. The number of African migrants who arrived in Mexico last year was 9 times higher than the year before, according to official statistics. Figures released by Mexico's Interior Department at the weekend show that almost 60,000 migrants arrived from Africa in 2023, a huge jump from the previous year when 6,500 made the journey. Dana Graber-Ladek, head of mission at the UN's International Organization of Migration in Mexico, told the BBC's Newsday program that most of these migrants come from Guinea, Angola, Mauritania, Senegal, Nigeria, and Cameroon. She said that people leave their countries for many different reasons, and it tends to be complex, anything from generalized violence to extreme poverty to political upheaval, and of course there's also the effect of climate change and natural disasters. The grand majority of African migrants that arrived in Mexico in 2023 do not wish to build lives there and are looking to cross the border into the United States, Ms. Graber-Ladek said. She added that many migrants pay smugglers to facilitate their journey to Mexico, and the trip can cost from around $10,000 to $20,000. That's it for African news, but don't go anywhere after the break. International news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
In international news this afternoon, the United States has proposed a rival draft United Nations Security Council resolution calling for a temporary ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war and opposing a major ground offensive by its ally Israel in Rafah, according to the text seen by Reuters. The move comes after the U.S. signaled it would veto on Tuesday an Algerian drafted resolution demanding an immediate humanitarian ceasefire over concerns it could jeopardize talks between the U.S., Egypt, Israel, and Qatar that seek to broker a pause in the war and the release of hostages held by Hamas. Until now, Washington has been averse to the word ceasefire in any UN action on the Israel-Hamas war, but the U.S. text echoes language that President Joe Biden said he used last week in conversations with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It would see the Security Council underscore its support for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza as soon as practicable, based on the formula of all hostages being released, and calls for lifting all barriers to the provision of humanitarian assistance at scale. We return with news from the world of sport right after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Getting into our local sports news, the remaining weeks of the Debmarine Namibia Premier League are expected to dish up a thrilling and nerve-wracking finish to the 2023-2024 season. The Old Mutual Development Show jumping event held at Ours View Stables in Windhoek delivered a thrilling spectacle over the weekend. And Maya Brinkman and Fori Stain both managed to scoop up a bronze medal in their respective categories at the Africa Junior Triathlon Cup event held at Troutberg in Zimbabwe last Saturday. Don't go anywhere, international sports news is coming right up.
Hi Kambaripa.
Hi Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
All right, you are still with NMH at 1, and now let's get into our international sports news. Rassie Erasmus's announcement of 48 names to attend the first Springboks alignment camp may have caused some feverish excitement among rugby fans, but in reality it is a first step on a long journey to the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Everton are expected to learn if their appeal against the 10-point penalty is successful this week, but the players are focused on matters on the pitch as they look to climb away from the Premier League relegation zone, defender James Tarkowski said. Orlando Pirates coach Jose Rivero has promised to give a stout defense of their Nedbank Cup title ahead of a last 32 clash against fourth-tier Crystal Lake at the Mbombela Stadium on Saturday. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we will be getting into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this. For those of you that are just joining us, let's take a look at the highlights from earlier on. The number of African migrants who arrived in Mexico last year was 9 times higher than the year before, according to official statistics. In international news, the United States has proposed a rival draft United Nations Security Council resolution calling for a temporary ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war and opposing a major ground offensive by its ally Israel in Rafah, according to the text seen by Reuters. And in local sports, the remaining weeks of the Debmarine Namibia Premier League are expected to dish up a thrilling and nerve-wracking finish to the 2023-2024 season. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. That's it from us in studio. We do hope you have yourselves a lovely Tuesday ahead.